I think Graham Stephan is totally wrong about gurus on the internet and the business of selling courses, and I want to tell you why. But let me start by saying Graham is kind of a YouTube gem. He teaches financial success and talks openly about his real estate business, all things related to money. From what I can tell, he's a really honest guy, genuine guy. He's got a lot of great value to bring, but that's a video for another time. What I want to focus on right now is that Graham Stephan and I have two competing visions of what a fake guru is. And he's got a video that has the keyword fake guru. So I know people see that video when they're looking at my video. And I want to challenge his idea of fake gurus because I think he has a way of thinking about gurus that will keep you on the guru treadmill, which I see people on a lot, right? They comment on my videos, hey, thanks for calling out X. Now I'm going to go to Y. It's the same guy doing the same sales pitch, except because I haven't called him out, they feel like, well, maybe this is the real guru. And my point to you guys is that if they're selling a $2,000 course and they're advertising it, it's probably a scam. But Graham would tell you, well, there's some sleazy people, there's some legit people. He doesn't really say the mix. It seems like he's saying that for every one sleazy guy, you're going to have an honest broker.
For every sleazy fly-by-night snake oil salesman out there, is someone who understands the business model and who takes an honest, customer-oriented approach to business.
But that's not true of the info sales industry, and I want to tell you why today. I think that it's actually completely different. I think every time a sleazy salesman will outcompete an honest salesman if given no regulation on the industry, which currently we really don't have much regulation. So let's start with Graham's view of gurus before we get into why I disagree with it. Graham would tell you, and you can watch his video, I'll link it down below. His video essentially says this: I used to not think the info sales world was legit. I thought it was dishonest to, sell information that's available for free online.
I was vehemently against selling anything online.
But then I realized that not all information products have to be win-lose.
But hear me out on this one. The distinction I wasn't aware of before selling information is that selling information did not need to be a win-lose transaction.
And that ultimately, what gives the industry a bad name is just the sleazy, fly-by-night salesman.
And these types of sleazy, fly-by-night snake oil salesmen give everyone else the negative connotation of being a scam.
It's kind of a few bad apples situation where the bad apples give the rest of us a bad image. And so what is Graham's formula for what makes a sleazy, fly-by-night snake oil salesman versus a legit person who's selling information?
The biggest difference I see between the sleazy salesman and the honest influencer is just the desire to bring long-term value from a consumer-oriented perspective.
Someone who gives more information, I guess. He doesn't really define value, but I guess that means like gives more than you paid for is sort of the idea.
So when you think of selling information in these terms, when you think of the customer experience first, all of a sudden I can scale up and it becomes a win-win scenario for everybody involved.
But this is where we get into trouble, okay? We get into trouble here because I feel like it's because he didn't define value that we have a problem. When you buy a product, you're not looking for the abstract idea of value. You're looking to get what you were promised when you bought it, right? If I go to a doctor and I say, hey, how much is my leg surgery gonna be? And he says, it's going to be $500. And I say, great. Hand him $500. And he gives me a 2-hour-long seminar on real estate investing. I may have gotten a lot of value, but that doesn't mean anything to my leg. And I don't care at this point because I didn't want a real estate seminar. I wanted my leg to be healed, right? So what I want to propose to you is a totally different definition that will change the way you think about gurus. A fake guru is simply someone who promises something that you do not get when you buy the course. And I'm going to argue to you guys today, the very business framework of fake gurus mean that you're not going to succeed unless you promise more than you give, okay? And I'm going to get into why. Because Graham will tell you, look, what has revolutionized the information sales industry is the ability to scale, right? Instead of me being in a class and only being able to teach 30 students, now I can make videos and sell them to 30,000 students, right? That's the scalable formula. So he says, look, the winning formula is to ultimately convert cold leads.
And when you find the winning formula to convert a cold audience and turn eyeballs into dollars.
What that means in advertising is you take someone who's never seen your face before, you run an ad on them, right? And you make more money from people who don't know you buying your product than you do from spending money. That's what he means by convert cold leads, to turn eyeballs into dollars. But that formula, that winning formula he's talking about, we know what that is because we know who's winning. Who is winning in the guru business? Well, Dan Locke's winning, right? Dan Locke made $10 million last year in information products. We know that Kevin David is winning. He got $10 million. We know that Sam Ovens is winning, right? And what do these guys promise you? What are they actually selling? What are you buying when you pay for their product? What should you be expecting in value, as Graham would say? Well, I'll show you. Kevin David says this. Sorry guys, forgot copyright Kevin's gonna strike me if I show you his actual video, even though it's fair use. So instead, I'll just read you what he says on his webinar page. He goes, how to create a full-time income with no experience and zero money to start using the MAP strategy. Dan Locke says this.
I'm going to give you undeniable proof how you can make $40,000 to $250,000 a year with nothing more than a computer, a phone, using skills you can learn in a weekend.
And Sam Ovens says this.
I'm going to show you how you can start your very own wildly profitable consulting business from scratch and then actually get clients, be able to provide value to them, and get paid in return. And I'm going to show you how to do all of this regardless of the experience that you have, the skills that you have.
So these gurus are all pitching the same thing, even though they all have a different way of talking about it. One says, I want to pitch you Amazon FBA. One says, I want to make you a high ticket closer. One says, I want to teach you consulting. But the point is, the way you actually convert on cold leads is by selling not information, but you sell a dream of financial independence. That's how you actually succeed. And the problem is you cannot make those promises. These people are not providing enough value. We've seen so many testimonials of people who've taken the course, applied the concepts that maybe are useful, maybe they're useful concepts, but they're not what they were buying. They're not a formula for becoming rich quick, which is what a lot of these guys sell. This is a fantasy. It's smoke. It's not real. But this is the winning formula he's talking about when he talks about converting cold leads. How to create a full-time income with no experience.
$250,000 a year using skills you can learn in a weekend.
Wildly profitable consulting business from scratch, regardless of the experience that you have, the skills that you have.
Because the truth is, running an ad on a cold lead, if you're being honest, will never convert enough. Saying, hey, yeah, actually this course doesn't work for a lot of you. A lot of you are going to lose money on this course. Yeah, and actually entrepreneurship is hard and a lot of you should keep your job. And you know what? A very small minority of you are going to make it. You should have a really high risk tolerance. And there's literally nothing I can promise you because the results are all over the map. Saying that, you're not going to buy a $2,000 course from me. But if I go to you and I say, hey, buy my $2,000 course, you'll get a proven roadmap to success, baby. To success. Now you're all of a sudden buying from me. Now I got $2,000 in my pocket. So I think Graham is fundamentally wrong when he thinks like there are just some bad apples, few bad apples that give the rest of us a bad name. No, the information sales industry is fundamentally skewed towards the bad apples because the bad apples just sell a lot better. They scale a lot faster than being honest. False advertising, unregulated, always wins, which is why it needs to be called out for what it is. And we need to address the problem, which is not value. It's not a value problem. All these gurus, they have a course. They have a bunch of videos in the course. The problem is that they're promising something they don't deliver on. And that's what we need to address in the guru industry. And frankly, I think that starts with these gurus getting a reputation. And the only way gurus fake gurus versus real gurus, they can separate themselves, distinguish themselves, is if the reputation sticks. But right now we're in an environment where the copyright Kevins of the world will falsely take down your video to prevent that reputation from sticking. We're in an environment where none of the gurus, the honest gurus, want to stand up and call out the people they know are scams because they just want to get along. They just want to get along with every kumbaya.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I'm here with a few pretty special guests.
Cancel it. You're dealing with scam artists is what we're saying, dude.
Mostly Shopify, affiliate marketing, dropshipping, e-commerce, Facebook ads.
It's fraud.
My name is Kevin David. So I started out with Amazon FBA. That's kind of like where I began this whole journey.
They are telling you that their business model is to lie. That's what they told you.
And it's preventing these guys from getting exposed and the real gurus from being able to, sell honestly. The other problem is, of course, that really, I don't want to put the burden on, YouTubers to do this, to self-police. I really think the FTC should be involved. The problem is the FTC is really underfunded. It's like more underfunded than in the Reagan administration. So the FTC isn't going to do anything. So in the meantime, it's up to this industry to sort of self-regulate, which is kind of sad because nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to be sort of the bad guy that talks bad about other people. But the truth is if you're legit, you've got to stand up and say something, you guys, which is why I appreciate all the testimonials coming out, saying, I lost $13,000 on these guys. I'm a real seller and this guy's falsely advertising. This stuff needs to come out, and it's not going to come out when we're just kind of pretending like, oh, it's just a couple bad apples here and there, and, scammers are sort of inevitable, which is something Graham says.
Fly-by-night snake oil salesmen are unavoidable. In any single business, they will always be there.
And I agree generally, scammers are inevitable in every industry, but this is a unique industry because the scammers are so prevalent and they're so unregulated that they're out competing the real gurus. People ask me for the real gurus. I say, I don't know where to find them because everybody who's running ads right now, they're fake gurus because that's what sells. Why would I go to somebody who's saying, oh yeah, this is a super risky investment, you're probably not going to succeed, blah, 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 which is true, versus the guy who says, I have a proven track record, winning formula, blah, 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 scammer BS. Anyway, that's my disagreement with Graham. I think Graham's a great guy. You should go subscribe to him. I'll link his channel below. But on the gurus, guys, leave it to Sifu, okay? Leave it to the fake guru king to call him out because this idea that, oh yeah, it's just a couple of bad apples, scammers get, they'll eventually weed themselves out. It's just not true. I mean, Herbalife's been around for decades. Amway's been around for decades. There are many scams. Look, bad scammers get caught. Bad scammers weed themselves out. But if you're sophisticated and I can just sue people who disagree with me, I have a bunch of money, so I can outspend everybody else who's being honest, I think you can have a very long lifespan in an environment that doesn't call these guys out. So, guys, that's my little pitch on gurus. I just need the CoffeeZilla vision of gurus to dominate because I think it's so clear-cut in this industry that something needs to change. The industry needs to get cleaned up. And that's only going to happen when people realize that actually the number of people who are predatory and who are scamming in this industry is abnormal. It's not just like, oh, well, I guess in every industry, there's going to be some scammers. No, there's a weird amount of scammers in this industry, and it's for the reason of, it just false advertising wins. It wins when you don't call it out. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon, I guess. I've been making a lot of these videos recently. Been having fun with it, guys. Been having a lot of fun with it. So see you soon.
Suckered by the same